Hi, Robert. As you know, we are your teachers, Miss Natalie.
And I'm Miss Tanae.
And today we are going to be teaching you 3 main rules about household safety. And they are:
Number 1, make sure you lock your doors at night and when you leave the house. Number 2, make sure you turn that oven off after you're done using it. And number 3, throw out that expired food, because that's nasty.
All right, Robert, so our first rule for the day is the importance of locking your doors. And this goes for every time you leave the house as well as when you go to bed at night.
The reason we lock our doors is to make sure that no strangers come into our house either when we're not in the house or when we're sleeping. Because you never know, maybe they're coming in to try to steal something.
So let's break this rule down. Now, let's pretend that this is my room. If I don't lock my doors, well, anybody can come in at any time, and that's probably not the best thing.
Anyone home?
So now that we know what can happen if we don't lock our doors, let's break down the steps of how exactly we do lock our doors. First step, make sure your door is completely shut. Second step, you're going to push in the lock and twist it. And step number 3, you're just going to pull on the handle to make sure that it is completely locked and that you can't open the door.
Now that we've covered the first rule of household safety, of how to lock your doors, we're going to move on to the second rule. And that is that you need to turn off your oven after you use it.
And you may be wondering, well, why do I have to do that? Well, there's 2 main important reasons, and that's so that no fires are caused, because that wouldn't be good. And number 2 is that you don't burn yourself, because that doesn't feel good either. Miss Danae has just made her favorite chicken noodle soup. But there's one problem. She did not turn off the stove. And we know what happens when we don't do that.
Ah!
Oh no.
All right, Robert, I definitely learned my lesson this time. Now, next time that I finish making chicken noodle soup, I'm going to make sure to turn the oven off. If you look at the oven right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 knobs. This knob is not like the other knobs. That means that it is still on. So, I'm going to turn the knob from 7 all the way to off. Remember, the stove is not cool yet. Wait about 10 minutes before you can come back and touch the stove again.
Household safety isn't all that bad, is it, Robert? We've gone over step number 1, which was locking our doors. Important step number 2, which is turning off our ovens once we're done cooking, so we don't burn ourselves or cause any fires. And now we are on our important rule number 3, and that is to make sure that in our fridges and in our cupboards there are no expired food. But Miss Danae, what does the word expired mean?
Well, Miss Natalie, expired means any type of food that is out of date. So today is April 5th, 2016. And I have with me here my favorite food. It's called Nutella. And if you see right here, it says December 2015. 2015? That was 4 months ago. Oh, this is out of date. And that means it's got to go.
So we have decided we do not like expired food, right? Doesn't taste good, you might get sick, it's not worth it. But you may be wondering, well, what do I do about it? What are the steps to making sure that I do not have expired food? So my tip number 1 is to schedule a day in your agenda every week to mark when you're going to check the food in your pantry and in your refrigerator. So Miss Danae, how would you do that in your own life?
Well, I've decided that Saturdays are the best day for me to make sure that my food is all good. And so I'm going to write in my planner, check expired food on Saturday.
It is Saturday, which means it's Miss Danae's turn to look through her refrigerator and make sure there are no expired food. Now, there is one tip to remember though. When you're trying to find the expiration date, you may come across 2 words, and that is either best by or used by, and then the date that comes after it. And all that means is that that's the expiration date and that that's the day that you're able to eat it up until. But anytime after that, well, it's not going to be good anymore. So Miss Danae, what are you going to check first?
Well, I think I'm going to look at my milk. So I've got my milk here, and I found the words Best By, meaning that that's going to tell me the expiration date.
Right there, Best By.
And it says April 17th, 2016. Oh, I think that's expired. That has got to go. All right, next I'm going to look at my eggs. And my eggs now say used by. And it says May 18th, 2016. These are all good. They're going to go back to the fridge. Lastly, I'm going to look at this yogurt. And it says June 6th, 2016. I'm all good. It's going to go back in the fridge.
Awesome, so there we have it. Make sure you check your refrigerator for any expired foods, and bon appetit. And that wraps up our lesson today about 3 important household safety rules. Now, Miss Danae, just to summarize, can you tell me what exactly they were?
Yeah. So number 1, lock those doors at night or when you go out. Number 2, turn that stove off. You don't want to get your fingers burned. Step 3, throw out that expired food.